The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. Wherever I go, he goes. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. I'll teach him everything that I know. My buddy and me, like the climb up a tree. My buddy and me, we're the best friends it could be. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy and me.
My Buddy from Play School.
The Showdown Podcast presents the Survivor Series with Corey Miller, Vic Miller, and Brad Scott. This week's episode, Child's Play, featuring special guest Harper Henson.
Hi, I like to hug. I have no friends. No one will play with me. Uh-oh. There's a friend in need. Hey, cheer up. Who are you? I'm a good guy. I've just come from the Good Guy Clubhouse. And I'll be your friend to the end. You will? You mean you'll be my friend now? Sure I will. Heidi-ho! Ha ha ha!
All right, welcome to the Showdown Podcast. This is a Survivor Series episode and also a very exciting first in the history of the Showdown Podcast. We have our first female co-host and someone very special to me. We are joined by my biological seed, Harper Henson. Harper, how are you?
Good.
And welcome to the Showdown.
Hey.
And why are you on here?
Because my favorite movie is Child's Play.
It is, right?
Yeah.
And you like horror movies.
Yep.
What are some of your other favorite horror movies?
I'd have to say Poltergeist, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and Sharknado. The whole series of Sharknado.
All four. And Jaws.
Yep.
I know you like Jaws. And how many of the Child's Play movies have you seen?
I saw the first one, the second one, and the Curse of Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
I saw those.
Okay.
You're slacking. You haven't gotten to the other ones yet?
What
kind of parent are you?
Well, we need to check some of the content of the other ones.
We need this pre-screen, huh?
Yeah. So
You know, I noticed something.
What?
She said Killer Clowns, but didn't say it.
Ah.
Oh, see, I see which one she prefers.
We're going to end up having to do Killer Clowns.
Do you like
I
Stephen
know.
King's It?
A little, but I'm not that big of a fan because I'm like 9 years old and he kills kids.
That's true.
What else did you tell me you didn't like about that movie?
Also, clowns.
There you go.
But you like the Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, because I find like the littlest one a little bit cute, but it and the other ones not so much.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well played.
So we like to ask all of our guests this question. If for 1 year, for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you either had to have a popcorn kernel stuck in your tooth or wear flip-flops the whole time, which one would you choose?
The flip-flops, because I'm not that big of a fan having stuff in between my teeth, because one time I was flossing, and sometimes I do not like stuff in my teeth, because sometimes popcorn kernels have those sharp things, and it might get through my gums.
Okay, that's fair. But what about when it snows? You have to wear flip-flops in the snow.
I put boops over the flip-flops.
Can't. Oh, well.
You
Holy
did
cow,
not tell.
I never said. Yeah, technically,
Never.
I guess you would still be
That's
wearing the
true.
flip-flops.
You have been bested by a 9-year-old, sir.
But if any 9-year-old was going to do it, it was going to be the one with my DNA.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Now, do you want to give any shout-outs to anyone?
I'm shouting at Brianna, Mia, and Armaya. And Emily and Hannah Van Bibber. And And my best friend I knew, I forgot her name, but she was really nice.
Okay.
And Mrs. Bartz.
Mrs. Bartz, and then of course Chelsea and
Yep.
Katera and all the gang.
Yep.
That we had the big birthday sleepover recently. Yeah, they stayed up till 2 a.m. eating candy and being freaked out by a giant bear my brother got her.
He was staring at them.
In my defense, it was Ayana's fault that we all stayed up super late.
Yeah, but the bear is now at home and he's good. You right? You like the bear?
Right, I
Love that
suffocated him to death.
And yes, and
She put him in his place.
Yeah, and claimed him as her prize.
Yeah.
She sleeps with him now at night. So, all right, let's go into a little thing. Now, Harper, are you a big fan of the Showdown?
Yes, I am. My favorite one is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm. See, that's when we're talking to the listener. That's who we're talking to. So, do you know? We like to do a little segment here. We like to call. And now, the Showdown podcast history. All right, Corey.
I can't remember the actual first time I saw this, but I know that I've been a fan of it for a long time. It's just been something that's, I don't know. It's just something it's kind of a fun watch.
Okay.
Fun horror film.
I'm going to keep mine short. I remember watching this for the first time and thinking, holy crap, this is going to scare little kids to death. Why did they make this? And then sat down and watched it.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
I want to say it was probably 1990 or so. Was the first time I saw it?
6 hours ago.
6 hours.
Well, technically.
Harper, do you remember the first time you saw Child's Play?
Yeah, I didn't find it scary. I found it funny, especially the elevator part when he curses at that old lady.
Okay. And I saw the movie when I was a kid, and again, I don't remember it scaring me as much as I thought it was just a very interesting concept and a fun movie to watch as well. This has been the Showdown Podcast history. All right, that is Child's Play. It is the 1988 supernatural slasher film. It is really solid. 68% Rotten Tomatoes is really high for a horror film. IMDb is 6.5 out of 10. Starts Alex Vincent, who plays young Andy, Tom Holland, Don Mancini, and John LaFia. Also Catherine Hicks, who plays his mother, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, grossed $44.2 million worldwide against a budget of $9 million. So
that's not bad.
Box office success. Yeah.
I'm surprised it was only $9 million though.
For the budget?
Yeah.
I know with the explosions.
The dolls.
Well, did you remember
too.
the lightning?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, I'm talking about because of the dolls. Because they had to have several ones on hand.
Yeah, but let's get into the movie. Vic, lead us in.
All right, so you have it's 1988, and Charles Lee Ray, a wanted fugitive and serial killer.
By the way, does it sound like a black name?
Charles Lee Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Doesn't that sound like it'd be a black guy's name? Charles Lee Ray?
Yeah. It's with a really deep voice. He is on his last leg. He's been shot, and he's running from the cops. He's trying to get away. He ends up running to a toy store on Wabash, which they kept bringing up the name Wabash like it was something that everyone needs to know, because apparently Wabash Avenue is in Chicago, and everyone needs to know that this was staged in Chicago on Wabash Avenue.
They did go out of their way to make
like
it very
30 times.
Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of Chicago references and stuff.
So he breaks into a toy store that's closed for the evening and trying to escape. Now, apparently, Charles Lee Ray is a voodoo cultist, supernatural enthusiast who has figured out the way to harness death and transfer his soul into other people.
Or other things.
As we find out, because he crashes into the display for the good guy dolls. And there are a lot of them, so apparently they were not selling well in the 80s. And he transfers his body into the good guy doll.
Well, hold on. What did you have?
Well, I was just thinking that on Alex's birthday, She couldn't find one.
No, she couldn't afford one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
She
Okay.
didn't have enough
she couldn't
money
afford
for one.
Okay.
They're looking at that kid's toy stash when they pan in. Like, he's got every toy possible, including like one of those drivable little Corvette car things in his house. So apparently she wasn't doing too bad. Or she had a sugar daddy somewhere.
But she had a high rise in Chicago.
Yeah, you know? That's what I'm
see
saying.
the look my daughter gave you when you said sugar daddy? Let me ask you this. What would you transfer your soul into
Oh God.
if you were in that situation?
I don't know.
An NFL player that just got a 30-year, like
What
a
if, you
$30
had,
million
but no,
contract.
what if you had to do inanimate
An
object?
inanimate object?
Inanimate object.
Wow. I would probably... that's a tough question. Pass.
Oh
Corey?
God. No, you were supposed
On
to.
the spot.
Harper?
A My Life doll?
A My Life doll. Oh, so it'd be kind of like the girl version of Child's Play.
Yep.
Okay. What?
I was trying to think who was it that played Harley Quinn
Oh, I
in the
don't.
movie?
don't
Margot Robbie.
Okay.
Be her bath towel.
Margot Robbie's bath towel.
Harper liked that one.
I really thought he was going to say Margot Robbie at first.
No, I'm still giving him.
I thought he was going to go for Margot Robbie, period, and then he went bath towel. That threw me off completely.
I don't know how you can give me the loser sound when everybody popped at that.
Just because some of us don't know what we're laughing at.
I think if we didn't have present company excluded, that would have been a different answer. It would have been a different implement.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Brad, what about you? I'm still thinking over here. I'm saving time.
Thank you very
It was
much.
late, but I think I would go with a car.
A car.
Yeah,
You'd become Kit.
like yeah.
Because you got to remember, you'd be sentient.
No, I think it'd
Which
be
is why that
more-
towel situation is an issue.
Yeah, that's true. Because what if it's like not that towel? What if it's just the towel that she throws on the floor to step on?
Or the one she cleans her dog with.
Yeah.
That's a risk you take. I'm willing to take it.
He's like, at least she handles me.
Sorry.
You're okay. Did you hear Harper's answer while you were over there trying to figure out your little joke?
No, I
You want to go tell me?
A My Life doll?
My Life doll. They're like kind of like it's like a female
it's a
Chucky.
female Chucky doll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I think the car. Like Kit. You know,
I'm really torn.
but
on
more
it.
like Christine because I would go for revenge.
like Maximum
I would look
Overdrive.
to kill people.
I would have to be Maximum Overdrive if I were to go with a vehicle.
You want to go with the semi with
The semi from Maximum Overdrive
with green
but not to steal your answer. So I'm going to say I would probably want to be. I think I would probably be a computer. Because then I could just go anywhere I wanted. As long as I had access to the internet, I could just travel wherever I wanted. And
You
mess with
better
people.
you better be an Apple product, otherwise you're going to get a virus.
You may howl.
You'll be plus. Not to mention if you're like if you're Microsoft, you'll be obsolete after 2 years.
I'm a Linux run operating system.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
He'll
I
be,
don't know what
he'll
that
be
means.
laying in a junkyard
Linux
somewhere.
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna just. It sounds right.
Oh, you don't even know what it is.
It's more secure than Apple's operating system. Let's put it that way. And it's free. So Charles Lee Ray transfers his essence and his soul into the body of the good guy doll, and the resulting lightning strike blows up the entire building.
Yeah, that was
in which
strange.
Yeah.
the officer who was chasing down Charles Lee Ray survives that whole thing somehow. And
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like, was he? Because he was in there,
Yeah,
right?
he was in there.
in
Yeah.
the building.
No, here's the biggest question. Why does a toy store in that part of town have a sunlight?
The sunroof?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's kind of weird.
you know,
What's weird about it?
you got to remember that was built in old time Chicago. That was an old building, so they had natural light in order to light most of those buildings back in those days, anyway.
I don't know. I just found it kind of odd.
But yeah, anyway, it was a big TV with lightning being played on anyway. So
To
it's
me,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
more
yeah.
odd part was the giant fake lightning bolt that exploded the
the entire
entire
building, yeah,
Like-
for whatever reason.
And again, yeah. What was his name, by the way? Mike.
Yeah,
Mike. Yeah, he goes and he finds Charles Lee Ray's body.
right. So he finds Charles Lee Ray's body, and obviously there's just mass chaos and destruction around there. So we move on to little Andy the next morning is making breakfast, and apparently this kid is going to have a massive case of diabetes because he's eating, and this has got to be the most like I guess fictional branded movie ever created.
But remember, that breakfast was for his mom, though.
I understand,
Oh,
but
okay.
we don't know that at this point. He's just when you think of a kid in the morning making cereal, he's making it for himself. You don't know that he's making it for.
I imagine also he probably ate 8 spoonfuls of sugar while he was making
He's
it.
like, one for me, one for cereal, one for me, one for the cereal. So he pours good guy cereal into the bowl.
Harper, what's your favorite cereal?
I'd have to say Frosted Flakes.
Really?
Not bad.
I would have gone. I thought you would have gone Reese's Puffs.
Well, you'd think that because I love the Reese candy, but Frosted Flakes is just asking for a cake cereal because there's icing and it's crispy, like a cake
cereal.
left out for 5 years.
Okay. Frosted Flakes tastes like
5-year-old
a cake left out for 5 years. All right, Vic, go ahead.
All right. So he's preparing. We find out he's preparing breakfast for his mom. He's making toast with a pound of butter, cereal with 3 giant tablespoons of sugar, and orange juice. And he's taking it into his mom because it's his birthday, and he wants her to wake up and give him his present. And he jumps on top of her and does everything he can to wake her up. And she declares not to eat the diabetes.
No, she did the
breakfast.
smart thing.
Yeah.
I've done this to Harper before. Where it's that, oh, yeah, I'm going to eat that later.
that's
Let's
marvelous.
just put it up here in the trash can for a little bit.
And then, oh no, I ate that. Really? It's like, oh really? Looking in the trash can. So she
No, the Play-Doh was delicious. I swear.
hey, that stuff is edible. You could do it if you really wanted to.
I don't love my kid.
If
that
you were
much.
that dedicated.
I'm kidding. I you know what? You know what I get? This is for me.
So he gets his mom to get up and get him his presents, which is what he wanted. And she goes out and she's like, well, don't you? He looks like, can I open this one? Which was obviously.
No, that's the worst. Ever happened to you?
That was,
Oh, yeah.
that
It's
was
happened to
some
me a million
serious-
times.
Who does
Like,
that?
Huge box. And he's like, oh my gosh,
She
it's my
knew.
birthday.
You don't put the clothes in that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You tell them it's not what you think.
Right.
Don't just like that's a sociopath. That just sits there and open it.
Open the big
Open
Well,
the
she tried
big
to talk
one.
him into the little one, but he wouldn't go for it. Obviously, he wants to open a big one. He opens it, and what's in there? Pants. And not even his pants. Like, I think they were used.
She was like, "Oh yeah,
We
we'll
can take these in."
Yeah, we'll take these in. We'll get them. They didn't even fit.
Well, yeah, and it was like the thing was she was like she said like, oh, you need these so much. Oh, bitch, get a cheaper apartment.
Or stop buying him, like, all name brand toy clothes. Like, he had on
cereal.
like, the good guy pants, the good guy's pajamas, the good guy
shirt.
sneakers, the shirt, the hat,
Yeah,
everything.
it's like, what do you need the doll for?
Yeah.
You're one of them.
You are a
it.
good guy now. There's no point in having this at all. So he opens it up, and he's obviously disappointed, and he was hoping that it was a good guy doll. They try to play us off like it was a good guy doll because it was a right-sized box. So we got handed a load of crap. And they move on to, he's disappointed, obviously, but he's an
Well, then
appreciative
she
little
does it
kid.
again. Oh, you don't want clothes. You want toys.
Right.
How about I got toys for you. You want some toys? And he's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, here, open this one, and it's what, a hammer, a toy
Well,
hammer.
It's a good guy. It's a
toolbox
good guy
set, right?
tool set. So still no good guy.
Just one more step away from the doll.
Right. Mm-hmm. So she, she goes to work and she's trying to, she's talking to her best friend who I guess is the aunt,
I mean,
quote unquote
no,
friend.
it's- yeah.
She's the friend.
Yeah.
I had one
her
of
best
those
friend.
brother. She has Uncle Mark, right? He's not my brother, but
Right.
he's your uncle,
best friend,
right?
but still uncle, or best friend,
Uncle
but aunt.
Vic.
There you go.
I mean, obviously we're not related to Vic. He's black.
but technically, you could be related to my wife.
That's true.
So there we go.
That's true.
That's my pass on
Ebony
everything.
and
My
I.
wife.
So She goes to work and she's with her best friend, and they work opposite parts of the store. But her friend comes in and she's like, "You know that doll you wanted? It's in the alley. There's a guy selling it in the alley." I don't know how many of you guys in the audience has ever bought something that fell off the back of a truck, but it's usually not too good.
Or anything in the Bahamas.
This is true. There's a lot of stuff falling off the truck. So they go out to the back and they find the guy that's selling stuff out of a shopping cart that he's acquired, and the only thing that looks brand new is this gigantic box with a good guy doll in it. So
that includes his teeth. They did not look new at all.
No, not at all. I'm not sure if those could be counted as teeth,
meth,
actually.
Not even once.
So they try to haggle the price on him. He's like $50, and she's like, "No." And then the friend is like 10. I was like, "Damn, she's selling a hard bargain." She like dropped it.
He immediately went to 30.
Yeah. I mean, he's a shrewd bargainer.
Yeah, she's like, "You just say one more thing."
Yeah. Just hit 25 and hand
Just
it to him.
go 5.
Yeah.
He'll go to 20. I guarantee it.
25. He would have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
So she buys it. She's like, "I don't care. I'm going to get it. I need it. I have to have it." There was a chance that this guy just happened to find the one good guy doll out of that ginormous rack of them that were up there that happened to be possessed.
You're being Corey. You're being Corey.
Now,
you gotta let that slide.
Well, he wasn't adding anything. I had to cover his side too.
Well, I do have to say that I did think that.
Nah, I know you did. That's a Corey move.
That's why I brought it up.
Okay, so about the clothes part, I actually like clothes for Christmas or my birthday, because usually they're like dresses and like stuff, like My Little Pony stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you actually like getting clothes.
Yes.
But what if you really... Okay, what about this? What if for your birthday, if you wanted that... You remember you wanted the My Little Pony,
Yeah.
What was it called?
Celestia Castle.
The Celestial Castle, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And what if you would have gotten that box and it just would have been a T-shirt? Like a plain, regular T-shirt and like...
That didn't even fit
like
you.
2 normal-looking dresses.
Still be happy.
No, okay, well, that's true. That's true. Because I'm doing a good job as a parent. So I'm a very appreciative child, right?
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for what I get.
But
she still wants that castle, and
yeah,
you know it.
and she got it.
Of course.
She got it. She knew she was going to get it.
Did you hold on? So with that, did your parents ever do that thing where they take the present out and put it in like a smaller box, and like they put something silly in the box like socks, and then like hide the real present?
No.
That's never happened to you.
My mom
did that to me.
My mom did one thing to me. When Super Nintendo came out, that was all I wanted. I was like, that's all I want for my birthday, Christmas. You go buying it all. You just use it all, one gift. And she got me like a few other small things. And then she was like, that's it. And so I was like a little disappointed because she kind of hinted that she was getting it, you know. And then she's like, "Oh, I think there might be one under the couch." It's in front of my whole family.
After seeing this movie, you don't want to go under the couch.
Well, yeah, I'm like 9 years old, and it was humiliating, you know, because then you're excited, but you feel like a douche because you're like, I was just sulking because I didn't get it, but now, like, it's like, yeah, Merry Christmas, Mom.
My mom actually did that to me, and I don't remember what it was, but I know that it was a big box. And I was like, oh, I want to say it was like a TV or something, like a color TV, the first color TV I ever got. I think that's what it was. And I opened the
first
box.
color TV Corey ever got was the first color
TV.
Right,
first one off the thing.
But
I remember opening the box, and there was like underwear in there, and I was like, I got underwear for Christmas. Thanks. You know, that's all you can do is be like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
And
Try
then
to keep
like
his face, yeah.
at some point, someone had snuck in my room and set it up in my room.
Oh,
so
dastardly.
Like, I had taken all my stuff. She's like, well, take all your stuff to your room. And I go in my room, and I go in there, and like I get in, I put all my stuff down. I sit on my bed, like you said, to sulk, and there's a brand new TV up there. I was like, Mother.
The only thing that's come close is my parents still do this to this day, and I know they're not going to listen because my dad already said we're vulgar. But they will actually say, what do you want for Christmas? And you give them 5 or 6 things. You know, you just tell them that. They don't buy any of that. They just buy whatever.
And then they'd be like, I thought you could use this. It's like, well, you asked me and I told you exactly
what I wanted, and you got something on the totally other end of the spectrum. Thanks.
That's why you send them Amazon wish lists.
Yeah, I know.
What do you want for Christmas? Link. Real simple. So,
Set it up to ship to your house.
right.
You don't even have to come this year.
Like all you got to do is just hit pay now.
We'll Skype.
Hit pay now.
We'll
be
Skype
good to go.
Christmas
Well,
morning.
it's gotten now where I'll screenshot the picture of what I want, and then I'll link to where you can buy it from. It's like there. I've given you how the directions on how to get there and get it.
Yeah. So, Chucky is now completely. Oh, she goes home with the kid and she pulls it on him again. She was walking in the house and she's like, "Here, hold this for me. This isn't groceries." So apparently she lied to this kid again on the way home and was like, "What's that, Mom?" "Oh, it's groceries. We're gonna go home and put this away. I'm gonna make dinner." She hands him the thing. She's like, "Oh, look, it's not groceries. Open it." He, at that point the kid's probably like, "Oh,
but
it's
I'm
another
fine
pair of
with
pants."
that. I'm fine with that because the payoff's there.
Well, yeah, but this is the second time this has happened in 2 days. That kid's thinking there's a T-shirt in this box.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking. So he opens it up and Chucky's in there, and he goes. He's just ecstatic. He's over the moon that he's got this Chucky doll. However, the mom ends up having to work the next day.
What did you think of her boss at work?
He's pretty much like the meanest. He's meaner and stingier than Mr. Krabs, and
You think he's a douche?
yes,
He is a douche,
First
right?
class D-bag.
yes. What?
Never mind. All right, you got to get one of these, Harper. I was telling you to say he's a douche.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
I just noticed I never got Mario coin up.
You what?
I never got Mario coin up. When a coin up, like.
Oh, you never got a Mario coin?
Thank you.
Nope. You only got a half one because you asked for
You
it.
can't ask for it around
Can't
here.
ask for it.
You got to
I
earn it.
just said I didn't have one. I didn't ask for it.
Oh, she's got you there. What? One for you,
Thank
sir.
You're welcome.
And that one's for you.
So, so the douchebag boss, that
Right.
guy, I mean, as a parent especially,
Yeah.
just the way he's like, what if she wouldn't have had the Aunt Maggie?
Right.
So, what did he expect her to do? Just leave the kid?
Yeah, and on top of that, Aunt Maggie's like, "I'll work for her so she can go home and spend time with her kid on his birthday." And he's like, "No, you don't work in the same
You're in
department.
the shoe
How
department."
hard does it got to be for her to shift departments?
Yeah.
It's just jewelry. There's a price tag on all of it. Anyway, so Aunt Maggie says she'll watch the kid, so she goes over there, and Mom goes to work.
By the way,
late
Aunt
shift.
Maggie, most cliched best friend in a movie ever.
Yeah.
Just it'll be the hottest date I've had in months.
Right.
Just,
Well, she did say she thought she dated Toothless in the alley.
just very, very Rhoda.
Yeah.
Very Rhoda.
So,
Rhoda?
for
Are you pulling
Rhoda,
wow,
yeah.
that
Rhoda
is a
references?
throwback older than you, sir.
But that's a good point of reference.
Corey got hot after that throwback.
Lord.
I used to have her poster up in my first apartment.
Whatever you say, don't ever say "kiss my grits." This man will go off. He likes that beehive hairdo. So,
Corey's old.
Yeah. So she's watching the kid. She feeds him dinner. He's sitting there watching TV and playing with his toolkit and his My Buddy doll. And he tells she's like,
Good guy.
Oh, good guy. Sorry. Where's my
Quit calling
buddy?
him my buddy.
It's because that was the actual doll in real life.
That's the one that they sold.
My buddy,
Okay,
my
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
The
That's the one, the
that we had
commercial at the
commercial
beginning.
that was at the top of the show.
Okay. So that let's throw me anyway. The good guy doll. He's sitting there and they're playing, and he's showing him how he can make stuff with his good guy tool set. And Chucky's like, whatever. He's watching the news, and he gets mad at him for not paying attention to him. And the doll rolls its eyes and turns and looks at him. It's like,
Which, by the way, we forgot to mention this earlier. When Andy's watching the commercial, the guy in the good guy suit,
oh, that's the
way creepier
Yeah.
than
freakiest
Chucky.
thing. Yeah, altogether.
Yeah.
Remember him?
That big, the
The giant good guy doll that
like-
was.
Don't put that on. You're going to scare babies if they're watching that show.
Yeah.
It's so, why do you have to do that? It's kind of like you get those talking SpongeBob figures and you have someone in a SpongeBob suit, but they're like, oh, we should make big guys to make them look like anime characters. Now let's make them look like creepy possessed SpongeBobs.
So back to the current. Chucky, so Chucky, well, he's trying to watch the news because his what it was like his cohort who left him.
Yeah, he finds out that the guy that
left him, right?
Yeah, well, the guy that he got shot and his buddy took off and supposedly got away, but he ended up getting caught as well. But when he was being transported to maximum security prison, awaiting his sentencing, he escaped, so he got away.
Okay, yeah, it's Eddie Caputo.
I believe
But that's why Chucky wants to watch the news,
right?
Because they're doing a report on him escaping, right?
And right when they decided that he tells his aunt that they want to watch that Chucky wants to watch the news, and she's like, "Why would this thing want to watch the news?" So she's like, "You have to go to bed." So she grabs Chucky and him and takes him to bed and tucks him in, and Chucky just goes. Back out there.
No, Andy goes to brush his teeth. And she puts him in the room.
She puts him in the room, and
But
Chucky goes back out, and he's
yeah.
sitting there watching the news. And she's like, "I know that I put this thing in this bedroom." And at that point, you have to be like, okay, so either she's the most unaware person in the world and did not notice this kid run past her, go in the room, turn on the TV, put the thing in, go back in there, and then start brushing his teeth. She has to know something was up. So at that point, I would have been a little leery, but who's looking for a walking, talking doll?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like the thing. We always do that in hindsight when we're watching these horror films. Like, how dumb are they? But you have to remember, like, that would never come into my mind if one of her stuffed animals moved around in our apartment. Like, my first thought is going to be, it's alive.
I think after it went from point A to point B, you'd be like, oh,
I still don't think I would.
You'd be like, I've seen Chucky. This ain't happening.
I think my first thought would be someone else is in my apartment. I wouldn't jump. That would be pretty far down the list.
But you said, like, Harper, did you move that? She's like, no. And you're like, all right.
I know. My next conclusion is I don't believe her. I would think she's lying to me.
Why did you start lying to me?
hey, you know, but if it was like if I were in bed, but it's super warm on my cover, so why would I just move in the first place?
That's true, yeah. But, again, there's not real dolls in real life, so we don't have to worry about that.
I wish they were.
Tell that to Annabelle.
Yeah, from HorrorCon.
Oh, yeah, we did see the Annabelle doll.
Yeah. I got a really creepy picture of it. So Chucky's watching the news. She wants to know why he moved him back out there. And he's like, I didn't. Chucky wanted to watch the news. He went back out there himself. So she tucks him and Chucky back in to put him to bed for the night. And she closes the door and, he kisses Chucky goodnight. And he's got this really strange attachment to this thing already. And he goes to bed. And Chucky decides he's not going to go to bed. And he goes after the aunt and hits her with a hammer.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the...
Jumps up on the counter. You got to get high enough. Gets up on the counter, which I'm not quite sure how he managed to jump that high. He's got like some serious like ups. Mm-hmm. He jumps up on the counter that's covered with flour for whatever reason and hits her with a hammer.
Because he had dumped it out earlier when she was still looking around. She was hearing noises and she's looking around.
I missed that completely. I was like, why is there flour all over the counter? Hits her with a hammer, in which she then falls like 3 miles and jumps out a window.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just drop to the ground? That would be my first reaction.
I'm pretty sure if I got hit in the head with a hammer, that probably would have been it too. But I'm just thinking that hammer swung by that little tiny thing.
And what kind of hammer was that? Was that a wooden hammer?
This is a good guy hammer.
I'm assuming
right?
it was a real hammer, like a real kid's hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought my son a little toolkit and it had a real metal-headed hammer on it.
It was real metal?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why can you trust a kid with a hammer?
I mean, it's
I don't know.
It was only like that. Did you see how big it was? It's not going to do a whole lot of damage.
Apparently, it kills people.
Apparently.
Well, but Vic doesn't think his kid's a psychopath.
Right.
He's going to hit people on the head with it. So he can buy his kid a hammer.
Right.
Well, she didn't know that this doll was a
I
psychopath
wouldn't trust
either.
her with a hammer.
I'd use it to fix nails, or just hit constantly a rug. On my bed.
Better to be the hammer than the nail.
That's right.
That's for sure. So she goes flying out the window and lands clichely on top of a truck that just happened to be sitting there, as always. And for whatever reason, like the cops show up. No one calls the mom to tell her that this happened. The cops are obviously there. They've already been in the house. They're investigating the whole thing, and they're stopping people from coming anywhere near. And she just runs through all of them and goes upstairs. Nobody stops her challenge until she gets upstairs.
Once she gets into the apartment, a lot of them are just stare at her.
Yeah.
No, the one dude's just sitting there on the couch reading the paper. like this is a murderer scene.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chicago PD.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
That's based off the 2016 unit, I'm pretty sure.
So she gets into the bedroom, and the same cop, Mike, who was after Charles Lee Ray, just happens to be the officer that's in charge of this investigation as well. And he's there, and he's questioning the kid without parental supervision, which I'm pretty sure is against all the cop rules somewhere. And she's like, what's going on? What happened? And I'm still confused as to how no one told this lady anything that was going on. Or that her friend is dead downstairs on top of the car.
Yeah.
But they do end up telling her, she's dead.
Yeah.
The cop's first reaction is to blame Andy.
Right.
Because he has the good guy pajamas with the prints on the bottom.
But he says, and she's like, well, you think my son did this? And he's like, no, we've already checked his shoes and there's no...
He said we checked all of his shoes in the closet. Like, I mean, they didn't check the pajamas he was wearing. Because he's like, let me see those pajamas.
You wouldn't check that, though? Like, if you thought to check his shoes in the closet, you wouldn't think to check. And then a 6-year-old's going to be like, oh, I committed murder. Let me take my shoes off and put them in my closet.
Let me put them back.
Like, that's one devious kid.
But
You're lucky you made it through her 6-year-old phase.
But they ended up they ended up kind of just letting it
go.
Like,
yeah,
they're just like, all right, well,
like, whatever.
you need to fix that window.
Well, she was a little mad too. She kind of went off on him. So they were like, all right, let's not make her any madder than she already is. Let's get out of here. So he sends everyone out. And as they're leaving, Andy comes out and says, Chucky did it. Like, they're all looking at him like, what? Like, they all did it. Okay, whatever. And he's like, no, Chucky did it. And because he knows he did it because he sees the flower on Chucky's shoes that shouldn't be there. So the kid's pretty quick, to be completely honest, for a 6-year-old. And none of them believe him, of course.
Naturally.
So they just leave and they chalk it up to this kid's crazy and may have possibly killed him.
they still made him a suspect.
Yeah. Well, they took the hammer. And they're like, I want an autopsy. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure I know what killed her. It wasn't the fall. It was the sudden stop on top of the truck that did it. But they still want to know what the autopsy says.
I don't know what that would prove. The autopsy.
I mean, that she got hit in the head with a hammer.
Well, but I mean, also, if there's anything in the system,
Yeah.
drugged, anything like that.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Maybe
but-
she was smoking something and went out the window.
Yeah.
She kissed Mushmouth and got a contact eye.
The next,
never know.
Then the next day, Chucky talks Andy into skipping school and going down. They take like the
On
train.
an epic journey.
Yeah.
For a 6-year-old.
Yeah. And nobody said a word to this kid.
I'm amazed. Like
No,
this.
then it was a lot more relaxed.
Apparently.
Maybe, but this was still Chicago, and there was nobody to pay for this kid's way. Like, the kid just paid for everything himself, because it ain't cheap to travel in Chicago. I've been there, and I've traveled by bus in Chicago. It ain't cheap.
He went by train, though.
Well, maybe he had like lunch money
Maybe.
or something.
He had his own transit pass.
Yeah.
But still, 6 years old, sending your kid to school by himself, that's bad parenting.
She dropped him off at the school. He waited until she left and then just came back
Ow.
outside the school.
Yeah.
You're right.
And he didn't have a lunch, so he may have had lunch money.
Yeah.
He gets there. He follows Chucky's instructions on where to go and ends up in this junky part of town. And there's this old house there, and he sets Chucky down and tells him that he's got a tinkle. So he takes off just in time for Chucky to.
Which I thought was just weird that they even put that in there.
Well, I mean, he's 6 years old. You can't imagine he's going to be able to hold it for too long.
Well, no.
So he bravely goes into the ditch and takes a whiz. And while this is all happening, Chucky takes off for the guy's house. And when he gets in there, he's figured out he's going to kill this guy for abandoning him and leaving him. So he turns off the pilot light on the stove, opens it up, turns the gas on, and then proceeds to just run around and scare his buddy until he sees him, in which he takes a shot at him and blows up the entire building, which then collapses on top of him.
That place filled up with gas quick.
Yeah, filled up quick. Well, mind you, if that thing sparked off, it would have just gone back into the lines and truly probably would have blown up. But he was downstairs. And, like, he had to go down some stairs to get to the bottom floor. So he was where the gas would have been. But the whole building like exploded and then just collapsed.
Yeah, again, this is where I think half the budget went to. Is just exploding buildings.
That was the first J.J. Abrams.
We only got one chance, guys. Got to get this right.
And it looked like it was practical. It looked like it was a real building. So
I say, unless they were shooting in Detroit, then they would have had tons of options.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were probably demolishing it.
Well, they're on the
anyway.
south side of Chicago. There's plenty of options
yeah,
there too.
Yeah.
That is pretty much Chicago. So they he kills his former partner, and then he proceeds to go to after the next guy on the list, which is the guy who taught him voodoo.
Well, but hold on.
No.
First,
First
they
it was the
say
cop.
she ends up going back to the
the cops
precinct too.
find him there, don't
Right.
they? Yeah, they find Andy there,
She goes to the precinct,
and
right.
I thought it was weird. Like the one cop's like talking to him about what happened, and as he's starting to go into detail, that's when they interrupt.
Right.
Like you would have thought they'd been like, hold on, well, we need to kind of like finish this question, pretty vital.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
What
again,
happened?
Again, they're also interrogating a kid without parental supervision.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Again.
Well, and not only that, it's like they didn't think the question. Okay, you were just at the scene of a death last night, and now here you are at the scene of an explosion. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of connection here.
Well, yeah, and the connection of like who they found in there. They're like, oh, they found this guy, and the last time, and this guy Mike, he's the cop who was on the whole the Charles Lee Ray murder case in the first place.
He
And
should have
hasn't
known.
He hasn't drawn any conclusions. He hasn't connected any dots either.
No, he should have known that the dude's nickname was Chucky.
Right.
Long before he looked at that file.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. So he goes, if you're about to do what I think you're about to do, he goes to, I thought you were going to start the timer.
Oh, no.
He goes, they talk about, what's going on and how they think that there's really something wrong with Andy, and they need to get him checked out. So they actually commit him. To have him, checked out by a psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever that would be, because they think he's probably criminally insane.
Yeah.
So they commit him, and she takes Chucky home with her.
Again, she's not thinking it's real.
I understand, but it's just the extra thing. Like, we found this thing with him, and why? But this is my point. This is something that comforts the kid. Let's take the kid to some place that he doesn't know. Let's give him his toy to take with him.
Well,
maybe.
but at the same time, this is also the thing the kid has been saying is telling him is murdering thing. Like maybe they thought this is an unhealthy thing.
Then I'm thinking that psychiatrist probably would have wanted to have it too.
Oh, maybe. I feel like
That's what I'm
you're
thinking.
Corey again. You're doing Corey again.
These are my thought process while I'm watching them.
Notice I've been quiet.
Because I'm in your head.
Yeah, I'm just doing my ventriloquism through you.
But she takes him home.
So she takes Chucky home, and she's trying to figure out everything that's going on, and she's like, I know that my son's not doing this, but he's saying that this doll is doing it, and she's like, I don't understand. And then she grabs the box to throw it away, and the batteries fall out. So everyone knows that this thing's been talking. Everyone's seen this thing talking. She knows it's been talking. She knows she didn't put the batteries in it, which she assumed were in there and went from the start. And she grabs Chucky and pulls open his flap, and there's no batteries in him. And his head spins around and talks to her. At that point...
No, does not.
No?
No. She has to coerce it out of him.
That's
Yeah, she starts threatening
Damn
him.
it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
Oh.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
By the way, this was 46 minutes into the movie.
Before an adult knows.
Before you see him with life. That's impressive.
Yeah, because you don't really actually see him do any...
You see his hand a couple of times,
his
and
feet
you
pattern.
see from his point of view.
I was gonna say I think in the shot when he killed Eddie, there was a few shots of him running across the.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you don't see...
background.
You don't,
But
but that's
he's not lifelike.
Right.
Like, just see
this
like a
is
shadow.
him talking and everything else, and he comes to life, and that's like the birth of Chucky,
Right.
right there. It's
The birth of a franchise that spawned how many more?
Several.
Yeah. So she's fighting off Chucky and trying to...
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
That's
Apparently, a full-grown adult cannot fight a 3-foot tall doll or 2-foot tall doll.
I mean, really, couldn't you just hold it by its arms out? And there's really nothing it can do. Maybe it could try and bite you, but if you hold the arms far enough...
Apparently, it's got the strength of a human man.
Apparently.
Is the only thing I can figure.
Well, let's also look at the fact that you might be caught off guard. That you're holding a doll that just said to you,
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
so maybe that has something to do with. Maybe not. Maybe you don't have your wits about you after a fucking doll just came to life and.
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Okay, I will admit, maybe I would probably...
Like
say
you're probably
something.
going a little bit of shock.
You'd be offended if nothing else. How dare you talk to me like that?
but
stupid.
But now everybody knows.
Well, she knows.
Or she knows. But then, like shortly after that, because Chucky escapes.
Yeah.
And he goes down the elevators.
He says to this old lady, "Fuck you."
Because she's like, that's the ugliest doll ever. He wasn't even like damaged at that point, so he still was supposed to be cute.
Hold on, I know I'm an awful parent, but what did he say to her again?
Fuck you.
No child sensibilities were damaged in the making of this episode of the Show Up podcast.
They were already dead. And yeah, Chucky escapes, and he goes. That's when he goes to find John,
Right.
his voodoo teacher, and that basically tells him like, yeah, maybe this is also why he was so strong. He says you're becoming a human doll.
Right.
Yeah.
But you still think, I mean, and that's the only thing. I have problems with this whole voodoo thing with him too. I'm like, okay, so he's tells him what the situation is, and he's like, I need to get out of this thing. What I need to do, and he's like, I'm not telling you Jack, because obviously I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, he taught the guy the crap in the first place, and now he's not going to teach him how to get out of it. So he's like, that's fine. You shouldn't tell people that you teach where all your goodies are hidden, because he's got a voodoo doll of himself. Why would you make a voodoo doll of yourself? Wouldn't that be like the first thing you never do?
Yeah, why? I
Is
don't
make a
understand.
voodoo doll of yourself?
Yeah.
I would not make a voodoo doll of myself, ever.
If I believed in voodoo, yes.
Yeah. If I knew this stuff was real, there's no way.
I don't know, maybe there's an opposite side of that.
Maybe there's a positive to having a voodoo doll?
Yeah, like maybe healing. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm going to look it up, but I'm not thinking so, because voodoo's never had a, hey, I'm going to do voodoo and make you feel better, man.
I would look that up on this computer, but it's not mine. We don't need that in the history.
Brad, look up voodoo.
What are the good things about voodoo?
So he tells
Hang
him.
on, go ahead.
Well, if I had my own voodoo, guess what I'd do with it?
What?
I'd definitely, I'd use it to do stuff I can never do in real life without a voodoo doll. Like, I'd throw it and I'd fly.
Oh, of yourself.
But at some point you have to land.
Oh, I'd throw it on my bed.
You would just jump onto your bed?
You better watch it. She might make a voodoo doll of you, Brad. You keep giving her that Lucha Game Show.
How could this happen to me?
Okay. So, go ahead.
So he, I can't get past it. So he breaks the dude's leg on the voodoo doll, which snaps his leg, puts him down, and he's like, I will do worse if you don't tell me how to get out of this body. So he reveals the secrets of the Dewey Dembella curse that he gave him. And that is that he has to transfer his soul into the first person that he made himself known to. So the first person that he revealed his life, that he was alive to, he can transfer himself into that person. So he's like giddy as a schoolboy, because he's going to transfer his essence into a 6-year-old boy. Nothing about this is right the way that it's said, so
Nope.
we'll keep moving. He goes back after Andy, who is now in the psycho ward in this hospital that's supposed to be locked down for the night, if nothing else. He manages to get in and go after him, which this kid sees Chucky outside and freaks. He looked honestly like scared for his life. Like, it didn't look like acting. It really looked like someone whispered something in that kid's ear, and he was like physically like afraid for his life. I don't know what it was, but that was some good acting if he was just acting at
Was
6
it
years
ever
old.
revealed? I wasn't sure about this. Was it ever revealed with Chucky in the presence of saying where Andy was?
I'm sure that the conversation came up at least at the.
He was with the mom. He was at the police station.
Yeah, at the police station.
He heard the doctor say Andy should come stay with us.
Okay.
I'm sure then they told the mom where he was going to be.
Somewhere in there, that conversation had to have been
Okay.
had.
I was just wondering, it's like, how the hell did he
Quit
find him?
nitpicking it.
That's the first time I
Wasn't
said
me this
anything.
time.
But you've been agreeing with all of his nitpicking, and it's the same shit you. It's the same shit you nitpick. So they do. He does discover him, and then there's the big. Oh, by the way, going back when Mike was in the car and Chucky was trying to.
Oh, we
stab
did.
him,
Yeah, we did forget
that. But that to me is a great scene. Like that was especially when you see the knife coming up on like under the ass and stuff. Like that was just, it was tense. Like I was kind of like edge of my seat watching it again.
Well, and he is like desperate. Like those knives was coming through. That would have been like, stop the car and try to get the hell out. Like, why are we still driving this thing?
Yeah,
because that's what scared the crap out of me too in the first place. But then like having that whole thing like revealed to you in an instant that this thing is actually alive and now it's trying to kill me too. Mm-hmm. Like that's mind blowing at that point for that dude. I'm sure. So for him to even survive that whole ordeal with his throat tied down by the seatbelt and that thing trying to come through the seat on him, I would have flipped out too. So he ends up going back. Well, hold on. So then the Chucky gets into the hospital and goes after the kid. He's freaking out. The doctor comes in and tries to sedate him because he's trying to figure out why he's flipping out so badly. And just about gets done with it when Chucky knocks him out too, and puts the what is that called? The electrolysis thing on his head and to electrocute him. I was like, why did he have this kid in that electrolysis room? Like, where were they keeping him? Were they keeping him in a torture chamber? Because all of that stuff was right there where that kid was housed for the night. It's a little much.
I thought you were going to say something.
Oh,
I thought so too.
Well, see,
you don't have to be polite. Just speak up.
You told me that sometimes, like, if some people think they're truly insane, they like electrocute them to help them. But I find that just murdering an insane person to solve all your issues.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
No wonder Charles became a murderer.
From the mouths of babes.
But so then, they escape, and Andy escapes, and Chucky follows him home.
Right.
Where
this kid has got one hell of a sense of direction.
Yeah, and a bus pass apparently.
So he's got something.
Yeah,
there you go. He knew how to call Uber. He's called for an Uber. The kid gets home in record time, and he's hiding out there, and Chucky follows him back. And he gets in the house. The mom is met with Mike meets the mom and is like, oh, by the way, I know what's going on. I know who Chucky is, and like I have a file that just like told me everything because I wrote it. Because he was the lead officer on the case, he wrote that file.
Yeah.
I finally put it together. So they go up. Chucky gets in the house. Andy, I keep wanting to call him Danny. Andy is ready for Chucky. He's got a baseball bat. He doesn't manage to hit Chucky with the baseball bat. He just throws it down and runs. And Chucky comes after them with the baseball bat. He basically pokes the cop in the gut. The cop goes down, and he proceeds to beat the cop and cut him down. So Chucky's just like he's got it going on. Like he can beat anybody apparently. So he's fighting him off. He puts him down and goes after the kid and the mom. And the mom basically gets a hold of him, and she throws him in the fireplace. The what do they call those things? The gas fireplace. And locks him behind the gate and tries to hold him in there. And he's just freaking out. Like, he's going after her like hardcore. And she tells the kid to go get the matches. He goes and gets them. And she's holding him inside. She turns the gas on. He strikes the match. And Chucky goes into his good guy mode.
Vic has no idea how to quickly go through the plot. Like, we've been giving him this and this. And so I'm expecting him to be like, yeah, they throw him in the fireplace and burn him. And he's like, the mom grabs him by his right and left arm, traps him inside, holding with all of her might as he struggles mightily. The child gets the match, lights the match. A spark occurs and then ignites into a flame as gas fills the enveloped area.
I was listening.
It doesn't blow up the entire building after she does it.
Yeah. And, okay.
So she lights him on fire. He busts out of the cage after she puts a stick in front of it, thinking that was going to hold him in. And she thinks it's over because he screams, yells, climbs over the couch, and falls dead? Question mark.
Well,
So-
yeah, but then he gets back up,
Well, yeah, she goes in to check on the cop. She wants to help him. He
and
tells-
Chucky comes running in.
Yeah, because the kid realizes Chucky's not dead. Chucky comes running in after him. She grabs the kid after playing hide the door with Chucky for a little while and running around. Gets back in the hallway and then has the gun. When did she grab the gun? I didn't see this. Like
It was off camera.
She starts shooting Chucky, and she blows off his arm.
His arms. No. I think it was the head first.
No.
Yeah, shoots
Was it
off his head,
first?
arm, and leg.
Okay, so she shoots off his head, one arm, one leg, and Chucky goes down, and she thinks that's the end of it. So they go back in after the cop again, and then backup finally arrives, because apparently he called for backup, and they finally arrive. And his partner is like, yeah, it was the doll. It was really the doll. And he's like, okay. So he goes, don't touch the damn doll. And the first thing the guy does is grabs the doll. He's like, it's dead. Look, there's nothing wrong here. And Chucky's body comes through the vent and starts to strangle him.
And
with
then
the strength of 10 men.
Mike shoots him in the heart, kills him.
Because
And-
they
Or
told
did he?
the voodoo guy said you have to shoot him in the heart. You have to kill his heart to stop him.
You're not gonna watch the second one to see what happens next.
What did you think of the ending?
Well, I found it like he was like shot in the heart, but how did in the second movie they like repair him? Like, oh, there's a possessed doll that's dead. Let's repair him, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about this ending. How did you like this ending?
Good, but you know, in those horror movies, there's not a happy ending. I wish there was like this mystery behind after he's shot in the heart, right? Like sometimes, like after you kill the villain, it looks like he's not really dead after you kill him the second time, right?
Yeah.
Or the third time in this case, because he died 3 times.
Yep.
Yep.
And then it ends. Like they walk out of the room, and the kid starts to close, or the mom starts to close the door, and you get that 80s freeze frame that I was talking about. Of him just looking back at Chucky, and that's the end
You
of the movie.
love that.
I don't understand it. Like, every 80s movie that we've ever reviewed ends like that. It's just a thing. Like, everything had to end like that. So that's the end of the movie, and we don't know what happens. Because we, at the time, we had
died.
no idea. Yeah, we assumed that there was a happy end, happily ever after, because we have no idea what happened.
You think it was a happy ever after?
Yep, but I was hoping a mystery.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll be right back with our results. Check out these commercials. You're listening to the Showdown Podcast.
We'll be right back. Tickets are on sale now for the 3rd annual Shocktober in Irvington, presented by the Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Join the hosts of the Obsessive Viewer on October 14th, 2016 at the Irving Theater for a one-night event screening of short horror films, including the premiere screenings of J.P. Lex the Roman, the latest entry in his cross-mediumed Elsewhere World universe, as well as the latest slasher from Snapshot Productions and Billy and Brandon Watch Movies. All of this and so much more. Come celebrate the horror genre in the historic Irvington area and get a chance to meet the filmmakers with live interviews after each screening. You can also win DVDs, Blu-rays, and gift cards to Irvington businesses. Tickets are on sale now at shocktoberinirvington.com. All proceeds will go directly to the Irvington Historical Society. And we will see you at the Irving Theater on October 14th. That is, if you dare.
It's commercial time. Corey, where could the people find you at?
You can find me
Nope. I'm not going to let you go ahead of my daughter. Harper, what do you have to promote?
My Fire mixtape drops in November.
All right. Corey?
You can find me
Nope. Vic?
You can find me online anytime at MillerKing51 or playing games at Black and Angry. That's BLAQ and Angry.
All right, Corey.
For
You'll
real?
go right after we talk about BradScottComedy.com, links to social media. Follow on Facebook, comedian Brad Scott, and at Brad Scott Comedy. All right, Corey.
Are you sure?
I am.
All right.
Sure that we need to talk about how the Showdown podcast is available at the Showdown Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and click like on the Showdown podcast on Facebook. Somebody should. All right, Corey, now go ahead.
No.
All right, we'll be right back with the Showdown podcast. Follow Corey at NKO Gonzo.
Now, back to our program.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I told you size was this shit. That's why
We are back. This is the Showdown podcast. Welcome back. It's a Survivor Series episode. We're taking a look at the 1988 horror film Child's Play. Spawned the entire Child's Play and Chucky franchise. Again, it was 66% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Came up with a budget of $9 million, made $44 million. And now it is that time of the show where we find out how it did. So let's start with our guest, because I think I know how she's going to vote. So Harper, the idea of this is we ask whether it holds up or not. Like if it's still, now obviously the first time you saw this movie was when you were 6, I think. So that was like 3 years ago. So was it just as good watching it now as it was back then?
I like it no matter how old I am.
So it's a Survivor for you.
Yep.
Okay. Vic?
It survives for me too. It's a fun watch. It's ridiculous, but it's hilariously ridiculous, and I enjoyed it again.
Yeah, as much as we were saying some of the stuff that, as far as logic goes, it's still a fun watch. I still give it 2 thumbs up.
And it'll be unanimous. I say it holds up as well. Child's Play gets the first ever 4-0 votes. Unanimous, 4 votes, sends it into the Hall of Fame. As a high five.
All the way around.
Yes, it is in. And what do you think? What do you think Chucky would say about that if we told him?
I don't know.
Filthy slut! Did you fuck with me? You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Chucky, we thought we'd make you happy.
How many more episodes do you think that's going to get dragged?
Oh, it's
into?
gonna.
yeah.
It's going into the personal bank, I'm sure.
Absolutely,
Just
it's
like the
coming
dog
back.
barks.
Yeah.
I'm surprised with you. I'm surprised with her.
We will hear this again.
So okay, real quick before we go, let's talk about this real quick. Scariest childhood toy you ever had if it got possessed and came to life. Corey,
Oh God,
Vic, Harper, what would be your scariest toy that you have right now if it got possessed and came to life?
I'd have to say my giant SpongeBob because that's pretty big and it's bigger. It would be bigger than me. And
What about the bear?
oh yeah, the bear. It would just it doesn't need a knife. It could just chew me.
Yeah, Uncle Ryan got that for her, and that's a big ass bear.
I know. And it can strangle me and suffocate.
It's taller than executive producer Molly Smith, isn't it?
Nice.
Yeah.
What's Molly afraid of?
Marshmallows.
Weird, right?
Marshmallows?
But
I think you
had
told
a
us that.
deep
That's
fear
weird.
Of gingerbread when I saw Krampus.
That's true.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Vic, what about you?
I think if anything, I would be extremely afraid of my Hulk. I have this Hulk figurine that's super articulated and super detailed. And I think if it came to life and had the strength of 10 men, I'd be in trouble.
Okay, that's fair.
Talking as when we were kids, I grew up in the 80s, believe it or not. And
Your Rainbow Bright doll is not that scary.
No.
That's because Corey didn't really start to mature and grow up until he turned 45. So, yeah, he did grow up
That
in the
metal
80s.
hoop and the stick, not scary at all.
I was really hoping to slide past all this.
This is my toy stick.
The Skeletor. The He-Man, the He-Man characters, the Skeletor would probably be it. I mean,
It's kind of small, though, right?
I know, but so was Chucky.
Yeah, but Chucky was at least a midget.
That's
Size
true.
of a midget.
Speaking of which, there was one. Did
They
you
like to
notice
be
the
called
scene
little
that it
people.
was? Depends on which one you ask. Comedian Brad Williams says midget. So, no, there was one scene where I can't remember who he was going after, but it was towards the end of the movie.
Yeah,
He came up.
when Andy was on the ground, then he had the knife and he was coming at him.
Yeah,
That was.
It's like you could tell it was. You could tell that it was a little person.
You know, Andy was probably like, "How's this thing keep growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking?"
All right.
Well, you didn't give us your answer.
Oh, man. I'd say probably my Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy.
I thought
Just because I would be terrified of the 10-inch penis.
It just pogo sticks over at you. Because it's only like that big.
I thought about the Ultimate Warrior one too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that the one that looks like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that one too.
Come on. Chop, chop, chop.
All right, that has been our show. We want to thank our very special guest, Harper Henson. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And did you have fun on today's show?
Yep.
We are not responsible for what were to happen to your career after you leave the show. I know. I
doesn't
deserve the
get it.
loser game show sound, don't I?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bum, 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 bum. So again, thank you, Harper, for joining us. For Vic Miller, Corey Miller, I am Brad Scott. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll talk to you next time on the Showdown Podcast.
Take rap, bake rap, sack rap, trap rap. Same shoe, same shirt, the same work, the same dirt. Your name hurt, the game hurt, my name work, that ain't work, that ain't work.
Magic Potty Baby, your bottle's all done. If potty training time will be so much fun. I help you with your training pants, you make me so proud. Your potty feels like magic, then it flushes out loud.
It's fun to help Magic Potty Baby learn to use her potty. Flush and you're ready for next time.
Magic Potty Baby, I'm so glad that you're mine.
Magic Potty Baby and her Magic Potty. No water, no mess. Batteries not included.
Magic Potty Baby, your bottle's all done. It's potty training time, will be so much fun. I help you with your training pants, you make me so proud. Your potty feels like magic, then it flushes out loud.
It's fun to help Magic Potty Baby learn to use her potty. Flush and you're ready for next time.
Magic Potty Baby, I'm so glad that you're mine.
Magic Potty Baby and her Magic Potty. No water, no mess. Batteries not included.